Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pairat Pipattanaboon, the Technical Manager of Troy Corporation in Asia Pacific and Africa. Today, I'm very pleased to be the representative of the company to discuss about multifunctional wetting additive for aqueous coating for this conference. The topic that we're going to discuss today is related to the trend of the coating industry and any regulatory that involved with the change in the formulation latitudes. So that's why we need the multifunctional wetting additive to help for the properties versus the chemistry that we select. And also we're going to run through the performance evaluation of the property together with test method that we use in the lab study. And finally, the result of the study and the summary of what the discussion today. The trend of the coating industry worldwide, we know that in the last 20 years, there are so many changes. They reduce or refrain the use of solvent. So that when you see some trend like the low surface energy, the difficult substrate that we interface with, like composite structures, plastic substrate, contaminated surface that have been there for years or centuries, metal substrate, lacered wood, asphalt, contaminated, and porous concrete surface. This is all the product or substrate that you involve day by day. Together with the formulation, they have to reduce or refrain from using solvent. The reason this comes from the environmental regulatory that need to enforce for this. Some country, it can be legislation. Some country will ask for cooperation to help to lower or zero VOC, volatile organic compounds, or APE, alkyl phenol ethoxylated free product. So that the change of the green coating that we so-called environmentally friendly, that involved with the formulation latitude that we need to discuss today. We need to look into the multifunctional wetting additive. This kind of blending chemistry that provide you multiple benefits. So previously, we know that wetting additive help you to wet for pigment grindings and also improve some color compatibility. But now you need the property of wetting and then plus with super surface flow leveling and control mold resistant, also called scratch resistant, scrub resistant, stain resistant properties. Together with improved adhesion, color acceptance or color uniformity, and some of the product in water-based, they also provide you for defoaming or air releasing. That's the plus of the multifunctional wetting additive that you can perceive. The approach of green chemistry that we know that we refrain from solvent, especially APE, not only yet, you're also talking about elimination of hazardous ingredients, HAPS, hazardous air pollutant free. Zero or no VOC that have been enforced in the last 20 years. And we see that product import from many countries, they have the label of zero VOC. Last, which is the ingredient that we produce, those kind of green chemistry or green additive, 40% at least of the raw material to make such a chemistry must be made from renewable resources. The concept of substrate wetting is the picture that you see every day, most of it, like this picture under here, the contamination like oil or silicone oil that contaminated on the surface of the substrate that you need to coat. And if your product, your coating has higher surface tension than the contamination, this is what you see, that you get some chlorine. The coating can cover the surface. And that's why the substrate wetting, it helps to reduce or lower the surface tension of your coating so that you can be able to coat on the contamination or contaminants. This diagram is tell you how the diluent or solvent has a surface tension in the unit of dye per centimeters. And what is the critical surface tension or CST, which is the solid surface from gold, aluminum, iron. Is an example of some product, solvent and solid surface you can see from the market. Let's take example of aluminum surface. It has surface tension about 42 dye per centimeter. I need to get silicone oil, which it has 24 dye cm surface tension, compared to the water, which has about 32 dye per centimeter surface tension, to coat on the aluminum surface. Is that what you see from the cartoon here? Because water itself has accommodated for this kind of contact angle bigger than the silicone oil on the aluminum surface. So the contact angle that measure from the wetting ability, this is a key parameter that we can perceive that how the solvent can help the coating on such a contamination surface or low energy surface. The product that we discussed about today for multifunctional, for aqueous system, it can be decorative, it can be for industrial, or can be for other applications like printing ink, polymer emulsion, or pressure sensitive adhesives. The product, let's so call Z or Z. So it's proprietary anionic tensile, silicone free. It's control the surface tension reduction. That's what we saw from the diagram in the previous slide. So once you reduce surface tension, become lower than CST, critical surface tension, you can improve of surface substrate wetting, and that's how you get surface flow and leveling, which is improve your gloss, color uniformity, and also minimize surface defect. And at the end, when you tint into the color length, after tinting the white base, you can control color acceptance or color development. The product also available for zero VC version. Example from the product industry benchmark in the market. We take water, which has surface tension about 32 dye per centimeters. And the well-known of the industry benchmark from the market, which is polysiloxane, including our polysiloxane product, diol, also called acetylene diol, and anionic surface substrate wetting that we're talking about, the Z product. So by far, polysiloxane has quite low surface tension at about 24 dye per centimeter, and only 0.1% of the wetting additive that add into the DI water. You can reduce from surface tension from 32 become 24. Anionic, it's not so bad. It's around 25 to 26 dye, right? Diol is about 38 dye per centimeter. That's how the ranking of surface tension reduction, particularly for just 3 chemistry that is industry benchmark. Now we're going to run through substrate wetting test method. So we prepare the lanyard charge and apply the motor oil mixed with xylene on the lanyard charge and prepare your coating formulation. Apply 2 mil or 50 micron on the lanyard charge. If you see some clogging or crackling, you're ranking from 1 to 3, which is low rating. And if it go for 4 or 5, it's very good with the surface defect free without crawling. This example of acrylic interior semi-gloss coating, 0 VOC. From the 4 formulation, the first one control is without the wetting additive. And please recall that on the lanyard charge has motor oil xylene mix apply on the surface of lanyard charge before we apply the coatings. And you can see at only 0.7% with Z surface, it helps to control smooth surface without crawling or cracking on the coating on this contaminated surface with oil. When you're talking about application for coating or adhesive, the porous surface is the thing that we normally see. So the substrate wetting will help the substrate wetting to get all the flow and leveling. so that you get the coating go through all of this porous surface. Because of lowering the surface tension of the coating, help you to get improved adhesion. That's why we call better substrate wetting, better adhesion you can get improved. The adhesion test method, we follow ISO 2409, the cross-cut adhesion test. All right. So the adhesion is tested on steel, aluminum surface, and also zinc coated steel. So the treatment of the coating at 100 micron, you have 1 day room temp drying, and then follow with 3 days 40 Celsius humidity test. And your ranking from 0 or 1, which is no delamination after the cross-cut adhesion test, or 4 or 5, which is you has like 45% or more of delamination after the cross-cut. And this is what you get from acrylic interior gloss formulation. This one is for industrial application. How the cross-cut show you this. And this is for decorative acrylic interior gloss coating. It's improved for your gloss paint that help you to control leveling, all right, compared to the two formulation. Improve the smoothness, you get your leveling for the product, especially for the gloss paint. Next one is a gloss development. Same thing with the decorative acrylic interior semi-gloss coating, low VOC, 150 gram per liter of VOC. We compare with the industry benchmark for the other 3 kinds of chemistry at 0.3%, the green, and at 0.5%, the yellow one. Diol, DOSS, diethyl sulfur succinate, and siloxane and Z surfactant. At 60-degree gloss, it's improved quite a lot of the gloss development, even the low dosage like 0.3% in the formulation. And from the picture that you can see, this is the formulation that we discussed before, and you have tinted with red iron oxide universal colorant into the white base acrylic semi-gloss interior. After the wrap-up test, we check delta E, and you see that this formulation helped to control delta E or color acceptance compared to the polysiloxane diol. Another formulation, acrylic interior semi-gloss, 0 VOC, same thing, the delta E from Z helped to control the lowest delta E or improve the color acceptance compared to diol, siloxane, and diethyl sulfur succinate at 0.7% uses. Application reference, you may ask, around the globe, major producer of decorative and industrial coatings that they have applied this, I will say, more than 3 decades of the product that have been introduced to the market. Some producers that they make thermal insulation, external insulation finishing system, or roof coating. They apply this additive into that finished product to get improved of the adhesion over the substrate, which is a polystyrene or the roof. Ink producers is quite interesting that ink and adhesive that you apply on plastic, paper, and those kind of metal sheet, which is you need to improve the adhesion. And especially the emulsion producer that supply the polymers into the ink that produce for the flexographic water-based printing ink on the OPP or plastic packaging and drinking water bottles. So that also help to improve the adhesion. And also the polymer emulsion that supply for construction adhesion application, the adhesive promoter chemicals or wax additive for coatings. That also the reference that they have used for this kind of chemistry. The summary of the multifunctional wetting additive, the feature for control surface tension reduction, provide you for improvement of substrate wetting so that you get surface flow and leveling. Improve your product gloss after tinting. Also, you get the color acceptance, minimize your surface defect, and some application like contaminated surface, you help for adhesion on low energy surface. Right. The green tendency of this technology of coatings that need to run for this formulation reformulation latitude for that. So you reduce solvent, right? And that's had negative on the coating property. So that's why you need to look into some kind of multifunctional additive that provide you for substrate wetting and other properties, color acceptance, adhesion, leveling, and sometimes you get some product like slip and mar resistant as well. This is just for the summary or quick reference in terms of chemistry that they have the industry benchmark in the market. Anionic tensile that we're talking about, it helps to improve surface retention for static and also get you substrate wetting, right? Leveling and flow improvement. You don't get anti-slip, anti-mars, also air reduction is not that. If you get formulated diol, you still okay for static surface tension, but you go more dynamic surface tension reduction that you get for both this industrial application or spray application curtain coats. You get good substrate wetting and also reduce air entrainment, but you don't get surface slip or anti-mars. If you need to get most of it or all of it, you go to see polysiloxane. If you have some budget for this course in use, you get improvement of static surface tension, then you get substrate wetting plus dynamic surface tension. So that you get substrate wetting and also scrub resistant, surface slip, anti-mars, and also reduce air entrainment. So this is how the criteria, when you look into the water-based coatings with either anionic tensile, silicone-free, or formulated diol, or polysiloxane. So this is, I'm done for the 15-minute presentation. If you have any question, please feel free to do so, or especially go to our website to looking for more information. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Many thanks to Mr. Pipattanaboon about his extensive informative presentation, and another thank you for, despite the fact that it's late evening in the Bangkok, your lively participation in order to reply question, Mr. Pipattanaboon. Let's wait some minutes.
You're welcome.
If we have any questions. But while we are waiting, I have a question regarding your presentation. If you don't mind, I wonder if you already checked the foam stabilization of, since you already introduced the Z surfactant, it's an anionic type substrate wetting agent. Have you already tested the foam stabilization in a comparison to other chemistries?
You mean the foam after the formulation done? Okay, I missed that slide. Actually, there are two foams. In the process foam, when you prepare the paint, the set chemistry is quite sensitive for high shear. That's why in our recommendation in the data sheet, we ask you to add in the letdown or final stage to avoid the foam. But once that is in the formulation in your paint, it has less foam to show out from the coating when you apply it. How do we compare? We even compare to polysiloxane from the industry benchmark. We also compare to the DOSS, dioctyl-sulfur succinate. All right. So that are the two products that we have, and it's written on the literature in our website.
Okay, thank you.
All right. For formulated diol, you don't need to compare, because by far either process foam or application foam, acetylene diol is very good for in terms of air releasing and also defoaming for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just check, there is no questions so far. Again, it's my turn, if you don't mind.
Sure, please.
May you please give us more information about how was the law about value was obtained? Did you already combine with a dispersing agent, or it's being used? It was being used alone.
Okay. Can you rephrase your question again?
My question is about having a lower about value that you have shown. It was, as far as I remember, at 16th page. How did you get that lower about value? By using alone, or in a combination with a dispersing agent?
In the formulation of the white-based paint, you should have the dispersing agent because they act in different mechanism. Dispersing agent, we select regular one. I can name the generic name, the copolymer type, high molecular weight of dispersing agent, acrylate, polyacrylate, high molecular weight copolymers. That's the standard in the market. And this dispersing agent in those kind of white-based formulation, you probably use somewhere around 0.3 up to 0.6% of the total formulation you add in the grind. So every formulation that you saw from that color acceptance, they have contained this copolymer acrylate dispersing agent at the same fixed level. So we just vary the dosage and the different chemistry type, diol, polysiloxane, and also DOSS and the C chemistry.
Thank you.
Right. So at least when you prepare your white-based product and you send your paint into the paint shop or POS or Home Depot, over there, you are not sure that what kind of color lens that they use, what type of wetting additive, dispersing additive inside that color lens. But make sure that your product, white base, has some kind of like worry-free when you thin for such a color. It should maintain your color uniformity.
Thank you for the explanation.
You're welcome.
I think we are on time. We have completed our session.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your attendance. Again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I would like to thank you for your interest, for the participants and our both presenters. Sorry. We will have a 10 minutes break, and Mr. Burhan Özdemir will be moderating the sixth and the last session of the day. Thank you for your interest.
Thank you. Bye-bye.